It kind of has evolved from just being silly, just silly observations, to more of the truth, like my truth. I think that that's where I'd like to go anyway. Like, I'd like to really mine some of the stuff that I have a lot that I could talk about and use as material. I think I'm really trying to learn how to do that.
Where does my material come from? Mostly just stuff that's happened to me, experiences that I've had. That's pretty just me being me. I mean, that's pretty much, like, I do personal stories and things like that. You know, sometimes I see something on the news that I might want to talk about, but usually it's just like weird things that have happened to me, people I've met, experiences I've had, and that's really kind of where it comes from.
My material comes from my life. I do I'd say I do 50% writing, 50% open mics. I come up with my stuff, or like sometimes I just don't write it down. I got an idea and it'll come out at the open mic. So I would say the biggest and the best thing for me, and it's probably everybody, is the open mic scene. Like, it's really where I get to like hone my craft, and just that's where I'm at right now. And I do weekends and stuff, but I still have a ton of respect for the underground, like, you know, the clubs. If you can make them laugh at open mics, you can make them laugh anywhere on a Friday night, in my opinion.
A lot of my material comes from being a single dad, recovering drug addict, boyfriend, you know, relationships. So again, they're mostly the things that are important to me in my life, or the things that I'm talking about, joking about.
I have real obsessive compulsive disorder, not the oh, I have OCD, you know, people play it down, but real medicated I have premises hitting me in the brain all day, and so anything, I could just be in the middle of taking the tea and suddenly I have to write something down because this off-kilter idea just hit me in the head because I have a strange brain that doesn't function properly. So you know, I'm not one of those people that says I take what happens in my life, and for me it's weird ideas are hitting me constantly and I can't stop it and I need to get it out.
Just like time, and probably my sacrifice is being lazy after work. Like, if I wasn't doing stand-up, I would just, you know, watch TV or be, you know what I mean, waste my time. And it's crazy, and it's a weird kind of social life, but like the open mic is like become my social scene, kind of. And it's like an anti-social, like, it's a weird place to call a social scene. But you meet a lot of cool people and have some conversations.
I have a lot of friends that just don't understand that, like, this is something I want to do, and like they get it's something I want to do, but they don't understand. Like, they'll want to go out on a Friday or Saturday night. I'm like, no, I have a gig, and they just like blow it off. Just don't go to it. And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I just can't not go to something. I made a commitment. I told somebody I was going to be somewhere. That's just not how I operate. Like, if I say I'm going to do something, I do something. And if somebody's willing to give me an opportunity to be in front of an audience, I'm not gonna stick it up their asses for giving me that chance. But yeah, I mean, my friends that are outside of comedy just don't get it. They don't understand that, you know, I have to be out during the week to work on shit. They don't understand why I'm constantly fucking writing shit down on my phone. They don't understand why I'm not always present as much as I used to be. And I'm trying to do more. I'm trying to, like, just fucking put my phone away from me. Just don't look at it. Just fucking be in the moment, live life, and that's where you're gonna draw material from. And I've gotten better about that, but like, yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing. Like, people outside of comedy aren't gonna understand that, and you can try to explain it to them, but they'll only get it to a degree. That's the biggest thing. And there's a lot of people who I'm not as close with as I was before I was doing comedy.
Probably financially. You know, I stuck to my guns a few years back and kept pursuing it and doing it and building my act up. And thank God I have a wife that is extremely supportive. She works full time, and I help raise the kids pretty much. I sacrifice to stay home and raise them, and so I can go out on the weekends and do shows. And now I'm at the point where I get paid, so it paid off, you know. So I say financially, and I'm not loaded, but we get by, you know. We get by. It was me doing comedy and her working, we do it.
And you know, I've lost a lot of relationships over it. When I first started, my first year I had a serious boyfriend, and he proposed to me at the end of the year, and I said no. And mostly just because it's an all-consuming art, and I always tell people you really have to love it to do it, because if you don't, all of the reasons you shouldn't will overshadow it. And beyond just the time that it takes away from you, or the things that it takes away from you as far as time, as far as money, as far as just the ability to have a normal life, it also, part of becoming a great comedian is making your perspective different from everyone else's. And you kind of, as you go on and as you develop and as you work on it, your personality becomes harder and harder for other people to relate to.
My success in school, a lot of it, like in college. There's a lot of dates I could have gone on that I didn't go on. Lost a girlfriend recently, maybe like, not even recently, 8 months ago, goddamn. I lost her, and it wasn't because of comedy, but it's like I could tell, like, if I didn't pursue it as hard and I was there for her more, it wouldn't have happened. But it's like, in those scenarios, like if I did go to school harder, if I did all this other stuff, I wouldn't be happy. I'd be quote unquote happy. Like I'd be like, oh, I have this girlfriend and I have a nice job, but my life is still empty because I'm not doing what I love doing. So I love stand-up more than anything else. So it's like, you're not sacrificing as much as just like what you got to do to other thing you love.
I think that's the key question every comedian needs to address, is what do you think making it is? Because the clearer idea you have of what that is, the easier it is for people like me to help you. If you want to be a television writer, there are spec scripts, there's script software, there's books, there's connections. If you want to be just a stand-up comedian, then you have to decide, do I want to work on 7 minutes and get on television so I can then go headline? Do I want to go out and develop an hour so that when I get the break, I have the hour to go out and make a special? Do I want to have a sitcom? Then I should be taking acting lessons during the day and doing the set at night, and have that set at night be basically a pitch for my sitcom. Everything you can do in stand-up comedy, and stand-up comedy gives you the ability to do almost anything. It's all what you want to do. If we wait for some guy in the back to have a cigar to say, hey, this kid's good, take him to show business, then you're in big trouble. But if you're working your ass off and you have an idea of where you want to go and you can make that happen, there are a lot of people who want to help you.
Good question, because this has been on my mind a lot. My idea of making it is making $30,000 a year doing stand-up comedy, or whatever you can make to have a basic life doing stand-up. That's really making it. If you can, you know, hang with, you know, have a wife, have a kid, and have everyone not be starving, that's making it to me. And to do that, I think you gotta get on TV for at least a small amount of time. So in a more direct way, getting on TV is making it.
I never think of money or fame as me being a success, other than that, you know, like I'm okay with living in a crappy apartment and not going out to eat all the time and mostly stealing my weed, but as long as I'm happy and I don't have to waitress for the rest of my life, I'll consider myself a success.
For me personally, if they pay me for the funny, pay me consistently. I don't care if they never ever know the name Zenobia Del Mar. If you want to pay me to make these people funny, brilliant. If you want to pay me to sit in the background, and I mean, that's fine. When you go on stage and you talk to people for 5 minutes or 20 minutes or half an hour or however long it is, and they pay you for that, that's an awesome thing. If they want to pay me to go around to schools and talk to women about having a vagina doing comedy, that's fine. I mean, I don't need to be on a billboard, I don't need to be, you know, seen. I just need to do the funny and to get it out.
Well, my ideal fantasy of making it would be to achieve a level of fame or notoriety based on the stories that I tell, the style that I do it in, joke writing, that can bring me to new places where I can go on tour and work clubs around the country, ideally around the world. I would love to go to England, Australia, other faraway English-speaking places. And I mean, I love being in Boston. I think it's unrealistic that I would make it still being here. I like being here, and I live fairly cheaply where I am. So if I was to say that would be an ideal thing, would be to be able to either maintain a residence in Boston or just go somewhere else that's still living cheap and living in a small way. But just I want to be respected by other comedians and be able to cross over into audiences who come to see me, as well as audiences of total strangers that will just get what I'm doing and want to come back and see more next time.
My idea of making it is, because everyone seems to, this question always comes up in like every interview or documentary with a comedian, and everyone's got different opinions. Some guys, they haven't made it till they're, you know, Seinfeld or Cosby or Chris Rock or Louis C.K., until their face is known. For me, what I really want is to be able to make a living doing comedy, because comedy is what I love. And if I can just, you know, like, if I could just get by earning like fucking, I don't know, just enough to survive and live, you know, fairly adequately, you know, like where I'm at now, I don't have much, I'm pretty fucking broke. But if I could just not have to work a shitty day job, shoot, and be a comedian and make, you know, a small living, then yeah, that's making it for me. Because I'm doing what I love and I'm getting paid to do it, and that's making it. If other things come at the end of the day, if you can even become more accessible, hell, that's just topping. That's icing on the cake.
I think I'm kind of like just a cooler, I think I'm a little more of a like a little more of like an asshole, like a little bit more of a dick on stage than I am off stage. Like I'm more apt to, you know, someone in the crowd, not that I'm a very mean comic, but if someone in the crowd, like I'm more like apt to like tease them a little bit than I probably would be in real life. But I don't know, some people might disagree. Some people might say I'm more of a dick in real life. But you know, the side of the, you know, my girlfriend says like I'm more like I'm more of a loner, and obviously in real life than I am on stage, I guess. Like I'm kind of shy at a party or at a big dinner with like a lot of people, whereas on stage, obviously, you're not shy at all. You're just like talking your ass off and stuff like that. But I like to think I'm a very similar guy on stage and off stage.
I think this is true for a lot of people, but just for me specifically, it's an amplified version of me. So I mean, like, you know, you meet Wes during the day, but he's probably not gonna start shouting and, you know, wildly gesticulating, like, you know, to make a point or something like that in the middle of the street, you know, or something like that, or, you know, just
talk to a total stranger like that. I found interesting. Probably one of the biggest benefits in regular life that I've gotten from stand-up has been just the social aspect and being able to have easier conversations with strangers and that sort of thing. So when I started, even now, I'm more reserved than most people in terms of like, I don't make a special effort to get to know strangers that often. You know, once I know them and everything, it's fine. You know, I'm not like socially awkward in that way, but it's not my first goal. I'm not that much of an extrovert. When I started, I was absolutely 100% introverted, could not talk to strangers, whatever. And I think what I got from stand-up was that ability to just be open in public and talk to people who you don't know. And like, you know, find out a little bit more about them so that you can, you know, be on common ground. So that's been a great benefit that, you know, if I never make it in stand-up, you never hear my name, that was pretty cool.
Wow. I think that on stage I'm more confident. I think I'm more comfortable talking to strangers while I'm on stage than I am in real life. I mean, I'm not striking up a conversation if I'm on a subway car that's delayed. I'm not, because that would only probably be complaining. If something funny happens or I observe something that we as a group saw, I might say something, yeah, but I won't. I try not to bother people in real life, but if I'm on stage, and I don't do a ton of crowd work, it's something that I want to get better at and feel more comfortable with, because it can take you down a million different roads. So I'll do that. I'll reach out to people. Sometimes people are intimidated by that, but to me it's exciting. So I think that I'm a slightly bigger personality on stage than I am off, but I'm just as needy off stage and on.
Pretty much the same person. For the most part, that's me. Some guys, you'll realize it's like night and day. I mean, obviously, like I was telling you before, I think it's more of an amplified version of me. Like, I'm not gonna, like, just go off on a fucking 5-minute tirade about fucking, you know, how I hate angel food cake or fucking other random shit. But it's still me. Like, that's me up there. I'm not, there's no show, there's no act. Obviously, like I said, you know, you're kind of a more amplified version of you because you are on stage and you want to communicate with the crowd. But I mean, the opinions, it's pretty much me. That's yeah.
I want to say don't do it, but at the same time, I'd say try it and just know that it's gonna suck for a while. It still sucks now. It's gonna suck, but when it's good, it's fucking dope. When it's bad, it's alright.
Get on stage as much as you possibly can. If you don't have the time to do it 4 or 5 times a week right now, then maybe you know, think forward to the time when you do, and that's what it takes. And fuck up all the time, because that's how you get better.
I think in order to be taken seriously by other comics, you have to take yourself seriously, and you have to act like a professional. You can't get up on stage wasted and be like, oh, fucking, that bitch was such a whore, and now I hate women, and yeah, so comedy, right guys? Like, that's not comedy, that's you being a drunk.
I mean, really for me, it's a way to communicate. I mean, I'm not always on, I'm not always cracking jokes, but I mean, mainly when I get it out, a lot of the things that I have to say and my point of view comes out when I'm working, when I'm doing the funny, when I'm on stage, and when I'm telling, you know, jokes, for lack of a better term.
And comedy is a connection. It's a connection to people. I love making people laugh. And that feeling, when those laughters come at you, and especially when it's like hundreds of people, you know, 200-300 people, done shows with 1,000 people, the energy is unbelievable. And you feel like you accomplished something, you know, you brought a little bit of peace and joy to somebody's life, for at least for 45 minutes.
To me, stand-up comedy has sort of meant that community I always was looking for. It's that community. You have friends, you have enemies, but mostly you have an audience and a performer, and everyone is sort of on the same page and together. My best friends are comedians. People, it's really, we refer to people not in stand-up comedy as civilians. And it's certainly overblown. I would never, ever compare what we do to people in the military. But there is that sense that nobody else really understands what we do except each other.
It all started when I was 15 years old and I discovered punk rock, and I decided I didn't want to have a normal life. And I kept doing that throughout. You know, I was played in punk rock bands and I played in metal bands. I became a boxer, I became a professional wrestler, and I ended up doing comedy. And it is just another art form that involves making people laugh and defying their expectations. And it's just another way to not be within what society tells you you have to be. It is something that you get up and you get to define yourself. And I define it differently every night. I may feel like doing a hacky club set one night. I may feel like being really weird one night, and I get to decide that. And ultimately, comedy to me is just, it's whatever you want it to be. Now, comedy is, it really is whatever you want it to be in a way. It's just the only thing you have to do is be funny. Other than that, you can approach it from any angle you want.
I feel better when I do it. I have a responsibility to myself and to the world, and I don't mean like audience. I mean the collective conscience of the world. I have a responsibility to put goodness back into that because I took for so long, and comedy is the easiest way for me to do it because you know, I was in a band for a long time, and in bands there's 4 people or 5 people that you have to submit an idea to, and then it gets changed into something you don't even recognize as your own anymore, and then you got to drive to a gig and carry big heavy things and set up shit, and then when you're done you can't even leave because you have to wait till you can load out again. So comedy is, for me, is the easiest way to give back, I guess, because I don't have to carry things with me. I just go. Usually they have a microphone, which is really nice. They have that, and so yeah, it's really about healing for me. You know, anything else after that is like a bonus.